Grab your cup. Let me ask you a question. Do you love your kids? Do you love your kids? And I'm sure at this moment you're thinking, of course I love my kids. Why would you ask that? We love our kids even if we don't like them at times, even if while we're helping them grow, they do things that drive us crazy, that frustrate us. They make sometimes really big mistakes, but it doesn't change that we love them, right? Even if they are people that we didn't expect to have as kids. I never dreamed I would have a child with really drastic medical issues and would be a special needs kid that would need help. I never saw that in my vision of being a mother. But that was one of the kids I got. It didn't change at all how much I loved her. In fact, because of the deepness of what she needed, I could say maybe I loved her more than I might have, because I had to give so much of myself. But you know you love your kids. And if I were to ask you why, you would just say, because they're mine. It's my kid. Of course I love him or her, right? Now, if I were to ask you, do you love yourself? What would you say? Well, I don't know if I love myself. Thinking of loving myself feels uncomfortable. Loving myself is kind of weird. I don't love myself because of X, Y, and Z. There might be a whole lot of answers that come to your mind. But what I want to invite you to consider is loving yourself in the same way that you love your kids, and loving yourself for the same reason that you love your kids, which is because they're mine, because that's my kid. No other reason than that. Not because of how they do in math class, not because they're a great dancer, not because they're going to school on a athletic scholarship. All of those are great. And you didn't stop loving them because they got caught at school doing something and got suspended. You didn't stop loving them if they had a problem, maybe an addiction problem. You didn't stop loving them if they made the wrong choice in a relationship. We may feel frustrated. We may feel like I got to take a step back and let you figure this out. I can't participate anymore. I've done all I can. It's on you, but you still love them because they're yours. I invite you to love you because you are yours. You are yours. No matter what mistakes you've made, no matter how your life went, that you didn't think it was going to go that way, you had some other vision, you are still yours. And you can love you through the mistakes. You can love you through the failures. In fact, just like with our kids, or just like with my kid, let me say that, when my daughter arrived in this world with massive medical stuff, and as I mentioned before, it actually enabled me to love her deeply, more deeply through it, because of the way she needed me. It was like the experience, the pain of it actually gave me access to a deeper sense of love. If you love yourself that way, what would be possible in your life? If you loved yourself just because you are yours, and all of the times you made a mistake, all of the ways you showed up but you didn't think you were going to mess up that badly, all of the ways that you made bad decisions, all of the ways that you accomplished really great things, whichever it is, however it goes, if you just love you for you, what would be possible? Ask yourself, how would I be in relationships if I loved myself the way I love my kid? How would I show up in my relationships? How would I show up at work? How would I show up in the world if I inherently walked around loving myself Sometimes I need to forgive myself. Sometimes I need to see the message in the mess. Sometimes I've made a mess. Sometimes I've gone down the wrong direction and I had to redirect. But even in all of that, if I had a sense of loving myself the way I love my kids, how would my life be different? Who would I bring to the table in my relationships, at work, and out in the world? If you know that loving yourself would be a huge difference in how you feel in your life and how you create your life, yay you, because you're right, loving yourself is critical. Most of us have the capacity to love our children and then only stay in the judgment and the criticism of ourselves. When we think we did something great, maybe we're willing to give ourselves a pat on the back. Maybe we dwell in that for a while, but then, boom, we're right back into the self-judgment and the criticism. That's not unconditional love. But if you know how to love unconditionally because you love your kids that way, it's possible to do it for you too. There are some people who don't love their kids unconditionally either. I'm not talking to them. They have a whole different place that they're living their life from. But if you love your kids unconditionally, you can do that for yourself too, and it changes everything. If you know that you want to get the capacity to be able to do that, you know it would make a difference, and you don't know how, I invite you to drop me a comment. I always try to give you a key word so I know that that's what you're commenting on. So just put love in the comments or love me. If you want to have a conversation with me, if you want to connect about that, if you see that as a missing in your life and how you communicate with people, how you share yourself, how you show up, how you take on responsibility, all of that would change if you truly loved yourself unconditionally. So put in the comments love or love me, however you want to say it, and I'll make sure that I reach out to you and give you an opportunity for us to connect and talk about that and how the kind of work that I do would make a difference for you, okay? Whether I hear from you or not, whether you drop a comment or not, whether we talk on another day soon, I invite you to go out today and just notice how much do you love yourself unconditionally. Have a good day.